Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a recent report shows conflicting data regarding the controversial Safer Kentucky Act. And there was an officer-involved shooting yesterday that led to an hours-long standoff.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. The time is 6:30 on Tuesday, March 19th. Now let's check in with meteorologist Tim Drawbridge for a look at your forecast this morning.
Good morning, Olivia. Good morning, everyone. Still dealing with some lingering cloud cover issues above us. It's 30 outside our door this morning. And the headlines indicating, yes, it's still going to be on the cool side with a bit of a breeze today into tomorrow. Now, with still all the dried up vegetation from last year's growing season, there's a concern regarding an elevated fire risk because the breeze could be a little gusty in nature. We will get the showers to come into play to help ease that concern as we wrap up the week. Temperature-wise, generally between 28 and 38 right now. A touch cooler as you make your way toward Ashland and UVA-wise. The pinpoint Doppler radar, nothing right now. There was a few hours ago. The disturbance is lifting out, high pressure building in, and once the sun rises, we'll have a lot of sunshine as we head through your Tuesday. And we'll get up to a forecast high warmer than yesterday, 54 in Hazard. More about the First Alert 7-day forecast, and we'll be flirting with 60. Can we get back to flirting with 70? We'll let you know in a few moments. Olivia?
Tim, thank you. It's been nearly a year since a young Corbin boy died in a tragic accident. On March 20th, 2023, Eli Hill was playing basketball at his home in Corbin when the backboard came off the pole and fell on him. As we approach the anniversary of his death, his mother says instead of dwelling on the day, she knows Eli would want to be celebrated with one of his favorite things, popcorn.
So we're asking people to eat popcorn that day, and if they will take a picture, maybe it's you enjoying it by yourself or with a friend or family. We would love to see it posted on social media with the hashtag popcorn for Eli, because I think that it would be great for us to just see how many people it reaches and give us a little bit of comfort on that day besides just dwelling on what happened.
The Eli Hill Invitational will also be held on Friday and Saturday in Corbin. You can find more information about the baseball tournament on the Eli Hill Foundation's Facebook page or in the story on WYMT.com. A sweeping crime prevention bill is almost to the governor's desk. The Senate passed House Bill 5, known as the Safer Kentucky Act. It increases punishment for violent crimes. However, as Samantha Valentino shows us, statistics show Kentucky has actually seen a drop in most crimes since the pandemic.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, Kentucky, like most of the country, saw a spike in violent crimes. Now, lawmakers are working to pass House Bill 5, the Safer Kentucky Act, which contains numerous provisions focused on criminal justice in the state.
Those are the statistics that the sponsors of the bill have been talking about, are the statistics that happened during the COVID crisis. Since then, a new set of data has been released, and the new set of data shows that the crime rates in Kentucky for violent crime and other offenses are actually decreasing quite substantially.
Pam Thomas is a senior fellow at the Kentucky Center for Economic Policy. Just last week, the center released an analysis of crime in Kentucky using both state and national data.
This whole thing has been couched in terms of this huge crime wave in Kentucky that we need to address through more incarceration and harsher penalties. It's just not supported by the data.
Data from the FBI shows violent crimes in Kentucky dropped by 19% from 2020 to 2022. The Commonwealth has remained below the national average as far back as 2012. In 2022, Kentucky's rate of violent crimes was 56% lower than the national rate. Thomas says that while House Bill 5 would increase robbery penalties, data shows that robberies are decreasing in the state.
The robbery rate is on a downward trajectory, and it dropped 23% from last year, from 2021 to 2022. And even during the pandemic, the spike wasn't that big.
Another Kentucky Center for Economic Policy Analysis found that House Bill 5 would cost the state more than $1 billion over the course of a decade. With the data showing that many of the state's crimes are trending down, Thomas questions the need for this kind of investment. In Frankfort, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.
We are continuing to follow a story out of Wayne County, Kentucky. A standoff ended last night after a deputy was shot in the line of duty. Officials tell us that yesterday afternoon, a man barricaded himself inside a home on Carter Dock Road off Clark Road in Kentucky 1009. According to police, a deputy was serving papers when he was shot in the chest. We are told the deputy's injuries are non-life threatening. The deputy was airlifted to the University of Tennessee Hospital as a precaution. Late Monday night, officials confirmed the scene was cleared but did not detail how this was done. KSP says more answers will be coming later today. We will update the story when we learn more on WYMT.com and the WYMT News app. A Johnson County woman is dead after her SUV went off the road and into a river. Troopers at KSP Post 9 were notified about a missing person Sunday afternoon. An investigation was launched after family members became concerned when they realized 52-year-old Vanessa Crum of Van Leer did not report to work. Crum's SUV went off the road and over an embankment into the Levisa Fork River. She was pronounced dead by the Pike County Coroner's Office. An Ohio man is behind bars after police say they found him hiding under a camper in Pike County. As the situation happened Sunday when KSP troopers asked 38-year-old Thomas Jervis to pull over during a traffic checkpoint. Police say Jervis ended up taking off on them at a high rate of speed. Officers say Jervis passed several cars on a one-lane road. They later found Jervis pulling into a driveway and running behind a home. Jervis was taken to the Pike County Detention Center. In Laurel County, a London man is behind bars after police say he assaulted an officer. It happened last Friday when officers tried to pull over 34-year-old Christopher Philpott. Officers began chasing Philpott after he got away from them, turning into a field before leaving his vehicle. Philpott ended up getting into an altercation, reportedly grabbing and striking an officer multiple times. Philpott was taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center. Breathitt County High School is offering a law enforcement pathway for students. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox tells us how students have become engaged.
The program continues to grow.
When I started, I had 10 kids. As of today, I think I've got 103 in my program out of the 765 kids we got in the school system.
Spicer says they have discussions about different cases in the past.
Experiences and stuff I share with them. I think that's the interest of them, is like some of the kids that I've got, I like to hear the funny stories or the sad stories.
They have hands-on exercises as well, including a field sobriety test. I went through the test myself.
What? This is driving me nuts. I can't walk.
Go get the handcuffs,
Traffic stops are not the only thing they learn about.
There's so many jobs that you can have in law enforcement, you know, like you said, dispatcher, or you can be a detective, or you can just be like a patrol guy or whatever. I just think there's so many opportunities.
Opportunities to have an idea about what they want as a career before graduating.
That's what I've wanted to do since I was little, but this class definitely helped a lot.
Turner and Bird both say they want to be state troopers. In Breathitt County, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
Teacher Kenneth Spicer says they will be introducing a criminal law class next year. Some parks in Knott County could soon see much needed renovations after being damaged in the July 2022 flood. The fiscal court will receive $130,000 to complete the renovation projects. Grant writer Leah Fugit says even before the flooding, some of the parks were not in the best condition. She adds this will give future generations outdoor spaces to enjoy.
They have old equipment that some, can't even use. So with this grant, we're going to be able to update all of the playground equipment, add new playground equipment, and make this a place for family gatherings and to kind of boost the morale of our community that's been through so much.
Fugit says they will update grills, basketball and tennis courts and playground equipment. It will also be ADA certified, meaning accessible to people with disabilities.
And a good Tuesday to you, getting you out the door with temperatures in the upper 20s and lower 30s, as cool as 25 over toward UVA wise. It's 28 at Clintwood, 26 at Ashland, but we're doing 30 at Jackson and 32 at Harlan. Your pinpoint Doppler radar, nothing going on right now. It was just a few hours ago as this feature continues to depart, and we've got high pressure building in for the day on your Tuesday here. So the drive this morning, going to be bright. Guess what? The drive is going to be bright again this afternoon. Sun visor down in style with shades with a forecast high today in Hazard up to 54. More about the First Alert 7-day forecast. You know, doesn't look like we're going to get the 70s, but we do need some rain. We'll explain why coming up in just a few moments. Olivia?
Thanks, Tim, and thank you for joining us. The time is now 6:41. Still to come on Mountain News this morning. Prime Minister Netanyahu agrees to send an Israeli team to Washington and the United States' latest efforts to stop a ground invasion in the Gaza city of Rafah.